call this meeting of the Board of Fremont County Commissioners to order. If you'll please rise and join us for the invocation from Bert Corley from the Connect Church, followed by the pledge. It's that front button there.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, we just come to you this morning. Thank you for a beautiful day, Father. And we come to you this morning asking for a special blessing, acknowledging that there is no government except that which you have instituted. And so we come to you asking for your wisdom and your discernment for our commissioners and for our county administrative staff as they go about the difficult and often unappreciated job of governing, Father. We ask that you would bless our public safety personnel, our law enforcement, our fire, and our public servants who work tirelessly every day to keep us safe and to keep us comfortable. And Father, we just ask that you would bless them and their families. We ask that you would bless our county, our state, and our country. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bert. Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
County Attorney Bellis.
Present.
County Administrator Carochi.
Present.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Any changes today?
I know of no changes as well, Mr. Chair. I move to approve today's agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On to the consent agenda. Notice that we are scheduling a special meeting on September 3rd at 10 a.m. It is for the special events liquor permit for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So that is September 3rd at 10 a.m. right here in this room. And we are also scheduling a public hearing for September 24th at 9:30. And it is for a special review use permit for a vertical bridge wireless communication facility. In other words, a tower. So that public hearing is scheduled for September 24th at 9:30.
Thank you for that. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as so ably described.
I second that, just with a note on item 4, scheduling a special meeting for Tuesday, September 3rd at 10 a.m. That meeting will be held at 10 a.m., but our agenda says the event will be held September 7th from 4 to 11 a.m. I believe that's p.m.
Yeah, true.
Correct.
We'll have that corrected
No
for that
drinking
meeting.
in the morning.
Yes,
That'd be a long party. Gosh,
that'll be an early party.
something. Okay, it has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, including the tower. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I never knew that a tower was a vertical bridge wireless communication facility.
Well, now you know.
That just floors me. Okay, move on to administrative and informational. We'll start with the sales and use tax report. Mr. Sean Sutton, our finance officer. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, all. Mostly good news this month, so
We like that.
yes. Start off with the monthly report. This is for June 2024 retail sales tax collection for Fremont County. Totaled $868,820. It was $17,832 more than 2023 year to date. Pretty well on track at $4,622,728. This is $74,615 more than 2023, and we're ahead of budget by $497,728. The auto use sales tax report for Fremont County's portion, July totaled $132,364. This was $16,655 more than 2023. Year to date, we're at $861,604, which is $12,805 less than 2023. However, we remain ahead of our 2024 budget by $117,854. The next report is for the lodging. This was a quarterly collection for June 2024, which totaled $99,811. This is $9,408 more than 2023. Year-to-date, we're at $154,247, which is $53 more than 2023. Slightly behind budget, which again is expected. The largest collection for the lodging is typically in September, so we'll look to that third quarter collection and see what happens at that point. Retail sales tax for the Sheriff's Department, this is June 2024, totaled $579,213. This is $11,888 more than 2023. Year-to-date collections are at $3,081,818, which $49,749 more than 2023, and Sheriff does remain ahead of his budget at $219,318. Sheriff auto use sales tax collection for July 2024, collections totaled $88,243. This is $11,104 more than 2023. Year-to-date collections are at $574,404, which is $8,536 less than 2023. However, again, to budget, we are $93,154 ahead of budget. As we kind of look through, just quick note, when I look back over 2023 for retail sales specifically, collections were up 11 of the 12 months. So as I track, you can kind of see on that first report, thanks Tony for getting back to that, you know, we have kind of 3 months that are up and 3 months that are down. So continue to track that. I don't see any large concerns, just, you know, when you see 11 of 12 months up in the prior year, was that something that was unusual? Is it something that's going to be more standard? In addition, if you look further back on our graph here, collections over the last several years have raised about $500,000 a year since 2020. This year, I don't know that we're going to be able to hit that number. You know, that would be closer to 10 million, and we're tracking closer to, you know, 9.2, somewhere between 9.2 and 9.5. So that's why I think we all continue to budget somewhat conservatively on the revenue side here, as this is one of our main streams of income for the county. With that, that kind of wraps up my report.
Thank you, Sean. I was reading an article this morning that even Home Depot and Lowe's are starting to see the hit from the non-disposable funds that aren't being spent like they were before. So this, I mean, it's still running pretty good, but it makes sense that it's down as well. It's pretty tight out there. The economy's hurting a lot of folks. Any other questions, comments?
No, just the standard reminder, you know, on 2021, and we look at the numbers across the board and the aberration that 2021 was from the post-COVID spending spree that we saw from people, especially on the lodging tax. We see it especially there on that lodging tax sheet. And again, Sean, you hit it on the nose. Nothing to be alarmed about. We may have a relatively level year compared to last year, which isn't overly concerning because we've had good numbers and good rise. If you take the aberration out of 2021, everything is on a pretty steady track upwards on a trend line. So, yeah, nothing to be overly concerned about. I'll talk about some other stuff budget-wise in my comments in a little bit, but it is a presidential year, and so you're going to see some pensiveness, people not wanting to spend money, being a little apprehensive. So.
And I think we did kind of bake that into the numbers when we all discussed that last year, so good job.
Yeah, and I would just chime in real quickly that I'm so happy to know that you also prefer to budget conservatively, like the three of us do, and this is why. I think it's a perfect example, but also just to note that you're already probably neck deep into the 2025 budget, and those meetings will be coming up for the commissioners as well here very quickly. So just a quick thanks to all of our department heads, our other elected officials, and your entire staff for starting to work on these things so early every year to make sure that we get them done on time. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you all.
All right, we move on to the county clerk's monthly report. Clerk Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for July of this year were $1,473,502.61. Of that, Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $803,958.74. That's 55% of the total fees, and is $44,219.43 more than July of last year. The year-to-date, our office is up $43,855.36. I will note that in the next few months of these reports, we did do a massive transaction last October due to a business sale, and there was a lot of motor vehicle transactions that happened that year. It's happened again this year. There's another sale, so we're about to see another massive transaction come through with companies being sold. So I know Mr. Sutton alluded to it a little bit last year, but didn't specifically mention it, but this year it's going to happen again. So know that that's going to affect some of our weird revenues coming out of motor vehicle.
Okay, any questions, comments?
Just a comment, it's hard to budget for that.
There is no budget for that, yeah.
Yeah, you really can't do that. So, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the county clerk's monthly report for the month of July 2024.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the clerk's July report. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Move on to the county administrator report. Mr. Tony Croce, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we'll start off with the job opportunities that we have posted for Fremont County. In our Department of Human Services, we have an ongoing caseworker, which closes October the 18th. We have an intake family assessment caseworker that closes October the 31st. We have an intake high-risk assessment caseworker that closes on October the 31st, and a child support specialist that closes on September the 5th. In our Sheriff's Department, we have a patrol deputy posting that closes on September the 26th. We have a master control officer that closes on September the 2nd, and our detention deputy position closes on September the 19th. So for more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcountyco.gov or call our HR department at 719-276-7409. So we'll brief update on the Grandview Bridge project. As you can see on the picture, our riprap installation on both sides of the creek is nearly complete. Pull the other one up for the other side. So that's encouraging. 4-mile creek flows have been redirected to their natural route, which is on the west side of the pier. The target day for the bridge girder installation is tomorrow, August 28th. The girder crane should be delivered today, actually this afternoon or this early evening, and set up early tomorrow morning. The girders will arrive and be installed one at a time on Wednesday morning. There will be 5 girders on the east side of the creek. Let me pull up another picture here. So there will be 5 girders on the east side of the creek that they're going to place in the morning, and then the 5 girders on the west side of the creek will be in the afternoon. This photo shows girder seats for the 5 west abutment girders. The bridge deck panel fabrication is underway, and panels can be installed as soon as the girders are set and surveyed. So we're making good progress here. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thanks for those pictures. It's kind of exciting. They're getting closer. It's going to look like a bridge pretty quick. Any questions, comments?
Just a comment, that picture especially shows what a massive project this really is.
It's pretty deep.
A lot of work. Yep. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, for all of that report. That's a lot of work putting that together, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we move on to the portion of citizens who wish to address the commissioners on matters not scheduled on the agenda. If there is anyone, now is that time.
We usually do other elected officials.
Oh, well, we'll come back to that. I was trying to skip you, Debbie.
I know.
Seeing none, we will move on to commissioners' comments.
You have anything?
Just real briefly, Mr. Chair, thank you. I would like to note that Monday, we all will be celebrating Labor Day, which means county offices will be closed to the public on Monday, but we'll be back Tuesday, bright and early, to resume all services. And I just would like to say happy Labor Day to all those fellow workers out there, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Grantham.
Where to begin? First, I'd like to address something. You know, we talked about it 2 weeks ago at our other meeting regarding our ARPA funds. All that information is available to anybody who'd like to know where that ARPA money has gone. It is public information, and we'd be happy to detail that. I generally don't sit around and twiddle my thumbs and read social media in order to gauge what people are saying, but it was brought to my attention that people out there misconstrued things that were said about the ARPA money, and I mentioned only a small portion of the ARPA money and where it went in relation to some of the special districts in the county, including fire districts, including the rec district, and several other local agencies that benefited from ARPA funds and our ability to help them out with that. I mentioned an abbreviated list of those districts. That accounts for only a small portion of the total ARPA funds. ARPA funds for that and for those agencies right now sits at about 1.8 million out of the total of 9.3-ish million that we received in ARPA funds. We also had community grants that came out of that total, somewhere in the 580, 590,000 range. We also have a great deal of projects that are being done across the county through all of our county departments, through our other elected offices, the clerk, the assessor, the coroner, the sheriff. The sheriff received a significant amount of dollars because of some of the requirements that are being forced upon them by the state legislature over the last several years. And our Department of Transportation got some much needed equipment upgrades. That wasn't all ARPA, that was some other monies. But we also see a large project that's needing to be done out at the airport getting done. Some of our other infrastructure is being upgraded, equipment being upgraded across the administration level offices, the elected official offices as well. So there's a whole lot going on with that 9-point-some million that it's far greater than the number of the other grants that we've given out to other local fire districts and other special districts that didn't receive any ARPA money. So the details on that are readily available and accessible here with the county. If you'd actually like to know what happened with that money, then please feel free to ask. Secondly, we have a special session going on up in Denver. If you're attuned to some of these things, if you got a received a property tax bill, then you're probably attuned to some degree. Property taxes have been going up. Valuations have been going up. And there have been several attempts in the last couple of sessions to try to alleviate that to a certain extent. The problem, had its beginnings in the 2020 election, where you have the repeal of part of Gallagher, the part of Gallagher in particular that put a cap on how many tax dollars could be collected. That's a real oversimplification, and I apologize. But when that was repealed, there was nothing to stop and nothing to prevent those valuations and the assessments and the subsequent tax bills from skyrocketing, and they did. Some of the attempts in the legislature to fix that have been interesting. Very complicated. Just ask our assessor, Stacy Seifert, about how complicated that system is now after Senate Bill 233 from last year. There are 2 ballot measures that are already approved to be on the ballot, Initiatives 50 and 108, that would roll back a lot of the taxes, put a cap on it, roll back assessment rates on residential and non-residential properties. To, in some minds, draconian levels, where it could be very damaging to some smaller districts in rural Colorado, be it special districts or counties or cities. And so the proponents of those measures, in talks with the governor, came to some understanding as far as some levels they could both be happy with, and some agreement, they call it the deal, where they're going to try to get this special session to somewhere find that happy medium on assessment rates and growth caps and things like that. Unfortunately, apparently, from what I'm hearing, the governor didn't have that discussion with the legislature and those in the majority. And so who knows what's going to happen. They started yesterday, and it went through committee, and they didn't take it to the floor, and so it's going to be a longer special session than they first anticipated, and that's not a good thing. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully there will be something at the end of this, no matter what happens, that will give some relief to property owners on their property taxes. And without going into a great amount of boring detail, I will leave it at that, Mr. Chair.
It's boring, but it's important. I think it's going to affect all of us that do own property, so that's the important part of it. And it's unfortunate that they go in with one single task and end up throwing all kinds of other stuff in there, trying to get that taken care of, and it takes up a day and makes it longer, and then the citizens are the ones who pay in the end of that. So thank you for that update, Mr. Grantham. I just real quickly don't have a whole lot to add other than the fire danger is real. It's still out there. It's dry. It's been hot the last week. We've getting a little moisture still, but the fuels are still really high. Dry, really dry. So be careful when you're out there. Have fun, but be careful, be safe, and be diligent. Anything else, Commissioner or Clerk Grantham?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do have a little bit, just because everything's piling up at the end of the month here. Just note, a few months ago, I had talked about a sticker contest that we're having in Fremont County. We did have a lot of grade school students submit a whole bunch of examples for vote, and some 18-year-olds and up that submitted stuff. These are for future voter stickers and I voted stickers for the next upcoming so many elections. So they're actually on display outside of the clerk's office for individuals to vote. You can vote once for the 17 and younger and once for the 18 or older. And these are a great way to have community involvement and to acknowledge the talent that we have out there. So, and these will replace the generic I voted stickers that we've been buying. So please vote, and the ending of voting will be here in a few weeks, and we'll get those ordered for the upcoming election. So I wanted to put that out there for everybody. As Commissioner Grantham has been alluding to, this year is going to be fun. But that includes the ballot. We are expecting a 2-page, 22-inch long front and back ballot. Everybody will be getting a chance to vote because we have 4 municipal elections. The rec district has submitted Canyon Rec District has submitted questions. Canyon City has submitted a question. The state has a plethora of questions, and we have a lot of candidates on the ballot. So make sure you change and update your address with the elections office. You can go to govotecolorado.gov because it'll be very important to get your ballot in the mail, regardless if you want to vote your ballot or by the mail ballot and return it to my office or vote in person. There's a lot on this ballot. And so preemptively going through everything, doing your research, and then making a decision before you get to the ballot box, instead of spending 20 minutes standing there, you don't have to spend that 20 minutes. So update your information as soon as possible. That way we can get you your ballot to you. DMV-wise, we actually it took a while, but we finally transitioned to individual tills within our software. So now all of our staff can do individual tills. But because of that, we're going to close the walk-in portion for titles for motor vehicle at 4 o'clock. We're going to do appointment only after 4 o'clock. That way it gives our staff enough time to get used to the process of counting and verifying each and every till. We have 11 tills that we have to count and verify the count, and if we have a mistake, we have to verify again. So we're making sure we have plenty of time to make sure we can account for all of that. So until we get used to that, if you need to do title work, not renewals, not placard, disabled handicap placards, but if you need to just do title work, please make an appointment if it's after 4 o'clock. I want to give a huge shout out to the county commissioners. I don't normally do this in the public venue, but they're gracious enough in this venue. You're welcome. Last year, I requested an additional staff for clerk to the board. Everything has been piling up, elections, and with the Abbey closing, which was unforeseen, I didn't plan for this, they granted me an additional staff, especially to do special event liquor licensing events out at Pathfinder Park. And then with the Abbey closing, we are up 400% in liquor licensing compared to last year and further behind. So I don't know how I would have been able to do it without the additional staff. Sammy Ryan was gracious to take on all that, and she's been doing a phenomenal job. And I just want to thank the commissioners to give that position, because there was no way my office would be able to keep up with that and everything in the 3 elections we've had this year. So I just want to thank you for that. And then on a side note, marriage licenses are up 25% this year compared to last year at the same time frame. So
Is there any correlation with liquor licenses and,
if most of these parties are out Pathfinder, yes. No, I just, for those of you who listen to me on the radio and whatnot, I do like numbers and percentages, but 400% up in special event licenses, 25% up in marriage licenses. The county is still booming, even though the economy has kind of stalled out. So just want people to know things are still happening, and they're going to continue to happen. Fremont County is a destination location, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Grantham.
Yeah, just real quick, just to tag on to that, talking about the statewide initiatives. You can see what those are currently. If you go on the Colorado Secretary of State's website and look under Title Board, and there's a link there for initiatives and their current status. But there are 6 currently approved. There are 3 more still going through signature verification. That's a total of 9 possible that go on our ballot. That's in addition to the ones the clerk mentioned as far as the county or rec districts or cities, municipalities for local questions. And so 2 of those may drop off depending on the results of the special session. But yeah, this is going to be a long and complicated ballot regardless of what happens with special session. The only other thing I forgot to mention, as far as when Sean was up here and we were talking about budgeting, and we do take a conservative tact on that, and we always have, and my colleagues long before I got here were doing a wise job as far as the budgeting here, and I really appreciate that and always have, and I always want to mention that you walk into some situations and it's a good situation because people have budgeted correctly for years. we may be faced with some pretty tough decisions. The state is going to have an interesting budget year themselves. They're talking about taking a $2 billion haircut in this budget, which honestly, from the time I was up there to now, it's probably grown by 15 to 20 billion dollars. They could take a haircut. The problem is they're not the ones that take the haircut. They pass those losses down to everyone else, and that would include counties and county services and unfunded mandates. And so we're going to be budgeting accordingly, to be perfectly honest, in light of what the state may be facing for their 25-26 fiscal year. So, yay.
Yeah. One quick note, and then we'll move on here. We've talked long enough, but I just want to give a big thank you to Canyon City PD. We had a situation the other day with the Department of Human Services and a caseworker and an assault with a kidnapping, and PD had to make some quick judgments, and I think did a really good job in defusing that situation. That person was stopped and taken care of, I guess, is in jail, I guess is the way to say it. And so just want to thank them for their quick thinking and hard work, and could have turned out a whole lot different than it did, so appreciate the help there. All right, moving on. We have no old business. We'll move into new business. The first item of business is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We have a proclamation, and we have Jessica Cobbler here this morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, the National Suicide Prevention Month is this month, September 2024. The proclamation reads as, whereas Fremont County is home to more than 46,000 people, a place of destination for thousands of visitors annually, and the site of about a dozen state and federal correctional facilities, and whereas the Fremont County Coroner reported 25 suicides were investigated in 2023, 3 of which were offenders in the state or federal prison. And whereas 90% of those who died by suicide had a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And whereas 46% of Americans age 18 plus living with a mental health condition received treatment in the past year. And whereas in 2020, suicide was Colorado's 8th leading cause of death and the 2nd leading cause of death for ages 10 to 44. And whereas on average, there are 132 suicides per day in the US. And whereas 54% of Americans have been affected by suicide in some way. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that September 2024 is hereby designated as National Suicide Prevention Month in Fremont County. The County Commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to become educated on suicide prevention awareness and support those affected by suicide during this month and throughout the year. First off, I just wanted to invite everybody again to it's the 8th annual Fremont County Out of the Darkness Community Walk. It takes place Saturday, September 7th at Centennial Park here in Canyon City. Registration and check-in begins at 9 a.m. You can register online at afsp.org/Fremont. We will have silent auction, memory area. I always say it's an event of hope, healing, and connection, so I hope you guys would be able to join us. As you all know, why I'm involved with suicide awareness is because my son Dalton died by suicide in 2014. I kind of had a speech prepared, but just wanted to let you know that this is my last year doing the walk and the proclamation. My husband and I are moving out of state soon. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for having me for 8 years. Letting me share about Dalton, about other kids that I know. letting me be a voice and hoping that it made you guys more comfortable with talking about suicide. I have a friend that's continuing on the walk. She's been the chairperson for the last 2 years, and I hope somebody will continue with the proclamation. But I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. You come every year and you show us these pictures, and it's just heartwarming and sad all at the same time. It's got to be tough. You're a tough lady, and I appreciate you spreading this word and getting it out there to everybody. And I will make you the promise that as long as I'm here, we'll do this proclamation.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would just add to that and say thank you for bringing this to us originally. And thank you so much for coming back every single year and talking about your beautiful, incredible, amazing son, Dalton. I still remember when he died. I didn't know him personally, but I remember when he died and how that affected our entire community. And so I think it's wonderful that you've been able and willing to continue this talk, to continue the conversation, because suicide is coming out of the darkness. People are talking about suicide now. The one statistic that I would argue with is the 54% of Americans have been affected by suicide in some way. I would bet that every single person knows someone who committed suicide and has been affected by that in one way or another.
I agree.
Yeah. So I want to say truly a heartfelt thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll miss you.
I'll miss you guys too.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica, for keeping this in front of us. Really appreciate it. I've mentioned in years past, I don't know how you do it. Stand there and thank you. I didn't know Dalton. I did get to meet him.
Yeah.
And special young man, and I know why, because, well, you.
Thank you.
So we are going to miss you, and we will keep doing this.
Thank you. I
And,
appreciate that.
Just thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move that we approve the Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclamation.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the Suicide Prevention Month of September
September 2024.
2024. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Jessica, again, we have a proclamation for you. You guys want to take a picture?
Yeah, I do.
Go down there. Okay, thank you, Jessica, and wish you guys all the best, no matter what you do. Moving on to item number 2, we have resolution number 29, series of 2024, which is granting an exemption from the subdivision regulations for 2 tracts of land in Fremont County. I'm going to turn it over to our attorney, Eric Bellis. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. This is a situation where folks who use Ecology Park and use the South Canyon Trail system will understand and will recognize basically some of the things that we're talking about in this resolution. And it's also a wonderful demonstration of a concept that commercial real estate appraisers talk about called synergy. We have Ecology Park, which is a county park, and the South Canyon Trail system that can be accessed from that county park. There are also, the Rec District manages that trail system. The Rec District has for some time been wanting to build a connector trail from the Dawson Ranch community to access the Shep Ridge Trail and Ecology Park, but they are just a little bit short of owning the property necessary to construct that connector trail. They've arranged an arrangement with a neighboring property owner whereby the Rec District and that property owner have agreed to do essentially a property swap of approximately equally sized parcels of land. The Rec District, at the conclusion of the swap, will trade a parcel slightly over 3.5 acres for a parcel slightly over 3 acres, which will allow the Rec District to build that connector trail over lands entirely owned by the Rec District. And at the conclusion of that project, it will connect Dawson Ranch to Ecology Park, the Shep Ridge Trail, and the South Canyon Trail system. That is normally a transfer that would have to comply, since it is in an unincorporated portion of the county, with the county's subdivision regulation. But the purpose of that really is not to do anything other than allow the Rec District to build that connector trail. So exempting them from the requirements of complying with all of the other requirements of the subdivision regulation really will not do anything to defeat the purpose of those subdivision regulations, and will in fact serve the purpose quite well. Both of the properties at the conclusion of the process will still be tracts larger than 35 acres. And really, this is a project that does not impact at all any of the reasons for the existence of the subdivision regulations. So that is what the request is, and it's basically to allow this transfer to take place without complying with the complexities of the county subdivision regulation.
Very well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I don't think I could have either.
Any questions, comments?
So you're just going to leave all the detail to us to have to explain that?
Just a comment before a motion, Mr. Chair. I really do appreciate being able to do these sorts of things at a meeting and just a quick signature rather than having someone go through all of these motions, and the distress, because I think it can be a little bit distressing sometimes to go through those applications and permits and such. So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 29, series of 2024, granting an exemption from the subdivision regulations for 2 tracts of land in Fremont County.
And I will second that with an appreciation for throwing a bone to the appraisers and the word of the day, synergy.
Yeah. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 29, series of 2024, granting an exemption from the subdivision regulations for 2 tracts of land in Fremont County. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item number 3 is resolution number 30, series of 2024, opposing the Colorado Ballot Initiative 91.
One of the 1,000 on the ballot.
One of the 1,000 on the ballot, and this is where it's very important as to what I think was mentioned a couple of times earlier, is to do your research before you vote. No vote may be a bad vote, a yes vote may be a bad vote, but do your research and please do your part and vote. This resolution number 30 that we have opposing the ballot initiative 91 is a ballot initiative trying to take mountain lion hunting away. We have two apex predators now in Colorado, with the wolves being reintroduced and the cats. And this resolution addresses the ballot issue. I'll just read it. Whereas respectful and responsible hunting is a time-honored tradition in Colorado, and whereas it is the policy of the state of Colorado and the state wildlife and their environment are to be protected, preserved, enhanced, and managed for the use, benefit, and enjoyment of the people of this state and its visitors. And whereas Colorado wildlife is a resource owned by the people of the state of Colorado, and whereas Colorado laws provide the state shall utilize hunting, trapping, and fishing as a primary method of effective, necessary wildlife harvest. And whereas the North American model of the wildlife conservation used by Colorado Parks and Wildlife is the most successful wildlife management model in the world. And whereas the population of mountain lions, bobcats, lynx are thriving and healthy and stable in Colorado under the current CPW management plan. Whereas the human population of Colorado continues to grow and residential developments continue to expand into traditional mountain lion and bobcat habitat, and whereas an unmanaged population of large predators will inevitably lead to the increased human conflict, both agriculture and residential lands. This is my favorite paragraph of this. Whereas sapient citizens need to look no further than the bloody and financially erroneous aftermath of the gray wolf reintroduction of agriculture lands following the passage of the Proposition 114 in 2020 to understand the follies of the ballot box biology. And whereas Ballot Initiative 91 would upend decades of research by CPW, eviscerating the West Slope Mountain Lion Plan and rendering it irrelevant an ongoing decade-long study of the Upper Arkansas River drainage basin to establish the relationship between humans and lion conflict, the change in hunter harvest levels, and whereas Ballot 91, Initiative 91 is another example of misguided ballot box biology funded by large groups, mostly outside of Colorado, which contain language that is confusing at best and intentionally deceptive at worst. Now for there be resolved by the Fremont County Board of Commissioners as follows. The Fremont County Commissioners hereby convey their opposition to Ballot Initiative 91, and the Fremont County Commissioners also commend Colorado Parks and Wildlife for its exemplary work on maintaining healthy and thriving populations of mountain lion, bobcat, and lynx, and for its national leadership in the wildlife conservation. This is another example, and that ballot box biology is simply what it is. This is given to the voters, and then misinformation, uneducation, and those kind of votes cause things like this to happen. If we have no hunting on mountain lions, and this is my opinion, which could probably be backed up by science and by everything else, the management that CPW does on this is outstanding. If we get too many mountain lions and the conflict with wolves, they're going to start infiltrating cities and towns a whole lot quicker than they will now, because they are trying to keep them at bay from human contact. There's a lot of deer in Canyon City, and as well as other towns around, and when the mountain lions and wolves thin the herds in the wilderness, where are they going to go to town? So got to be very careful, and as they do your research, everything in this is 100% accurate and should be voted no on. Any other comments, questions?
Oh, yes. We talk, when we talk about like wildfires and stuff like that, we talk about the urban interface areas. That also exists for wildlife. And what this will do is, intentionally or unintentionally, it will push some of these predatory species into those interface areas. And we won't start seeing the crying about this until somebody's pets or children are killed because of this pushing of these predatory species into these areas. As the chairman read, the important paragraph to me is the one right after the ballot box biology comment. Whereas Ballot Initiative 91 would upend decades of research by CPW. This ballot initiative takes the decision-making out of the hands of the experts and puts it in the hands of those that are voting with the motion on, well, let's save the poor kittens. Well, I'm sorry, these are predatory species that we are going to be pushing into populated areas through no expertise and taking away that expertise, and it says in that same paragraph, ignoring basically this decade-long study of these animals and the relationship, it says, between the human-lion conflict and the hunter-harvest levels. This is their job at CPW, and we are taking it away from them and to our own detriment. And so vigorously, we oppose 91.
Hear, hear. I'm pretty sure you two have already said it all.
Well, and I would just like to mention too that we talked about the wolves in this just a little bit, and simply because the wolves that were captured in another state and brought into here, they have already killed animals, killed sheep, I believe some cattle, and the state is having trouble identifying or coming up with a definition of chronic deprivation, depredation. That's a tough word. But anyway, I think we're going to have more of that when we have a bigger population of lions and the wolves coming in. So the science, as mentioned, and the studies that they've been doing are for a good reason. They need to be managed or they will overrun. And a predator does what a predator does when it's in control.
Yeah. And just of note, you'll probably be hearing a little bit more about this over the next couple or 3 months from other ballot initiatives that we will need to chime in on. Just fair warning. Up until a certain point in time.
Clerk's chomping over there. With that, guys, I would move to approve resolution number 30, series 2024, opposing the Colorado ballot initiative 91.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the resolution to oppose ballot initiative 91. Any other discussion?
I would just say thanks to both of you for bringing this forward. This is one that really wasn't much on my radar screen, but I absolutely understand the reasoning and the logic behind this, and I hope that our citizens do as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4. This one is to remove Dave Bowden from the Fremont County Board of Zoning and Adjustment, and this is up on his request. And with that, we have to appoint a new member to the Fremont County Board of Zoning and Adjustment with the term expiring February 28th, 2026.
Mr. Chair, we did receive a letter from, or actually an email from Mr. Bowden asking for his removal from this board. And with that, I move to appoint Tim Bennett as the new member to the Fremont County Board of Zoning Adjustment with the term expiring on February 28th of 2026.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to remove Dave Bowden and appoint Tim Bennett to the Fremont County Board of Zoning Adjustment for term ending February 28th, 2026. Any further discussion?
Just a quick note I like to make during appointments like this is we're not surprising him with this appointment. Mr. Bennett did actually send us a letter requesting this appointment, and we were pretty impressed with that letter. So I just want to say thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 5 is an appointment of a new alternate member to the Fremont County Board of Zoning Adjustment with a term ending February 28th, 2027.
Mr. Chair, for this alternate member to the Board of Zoning Adjustment, the term expires February 28, 2027. Kevin Brown is the one who sent in his interest also for the board. We will be appointing him to this alternate position. Kevin Brown is a long-standing, upstanding member of our community and very active in many ways. In fact, he's stood before us on multiple occasions for being an event sponsor and liquor license, et cetera, and things like that. And so we know Kevin well, and happy that he is jumping in the fray in volunteering here. So with that, I move for the appointment of Kevin Brown to the alternate member to the Fremont County Board of zoning adjustment, term expiring February 28, 2027.
And I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Kevin Brown as an alternate member of the Fremont County Board of Zoning and Adjustment, term ending February 28, 2027. I would like to point out also that we got 4 letters of interest for these 2 positions.
Yeah.
And so appreciate others that were interested in it. And we had to make those decisions, and these 2 gentlemen are the ones that were chosen. So congratulations and welcome.
Not every day we have the wealth of applications for these, but we, again, I reiterate, we do appreciate that. And,
Appreciate it greatly.
We encourage people to volunteer and become part of the volunteer corps, so to speak.
And if you're interested in volunteering, we do have them on our website, what is it? Gosh.
Fremont County
CO.gov. FremontCountyCO.gov. Sorry about that.
It doesn't roll off the
Haven't
tongue
got,
like the old one.
not
It
to the
really
new one
does.
yet, but it is on the front page of places to volunteer, and if there is an opening, it will be listed there. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
With no further business before us, we are adjourned. 9:50.